Welcome to the Rowe Report, a podcast that brings you the latest news, exclusive interviews, and valuable insights from the region's top real estate leaders. And now, our host, Elizabeth Rowe.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rowe Report, where we help agents like you think, feel, and act like a pro. I cannot tell you how excited I am about our guest today. It's really someone that I've worked with throughout my career in real estate, and we still have great conversations from time to time on, what the market's doing, what other agents are seeing, and really just how to provide better service to our clients. Today, I want to welcome Tim Moldenhauer with RE/MAX Associates and the Moldenhauer Group.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
To contribute, maybe give some information to help some people in this career.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of you out there have noticed that the market's shifting. And this is something that Tim and I talk about often with how, a shifting market requires some shifts in our mindset, right? And how we really need to buckle down, return back to basics, right? And do the things that we know work and that produce the best results. And a lot of times, it's not fun and it's not sexy,
No. Well, the funny thing is most shows out there, when people see real estate, they never show the client acquisition part. They show the fun part. We love showing property. We love selling property, but they never show you, where did they come from?
That's right. So that's what we're really going to dive into today is what it takes to get started in real estate. So if you're out there just getting started, what are the fundamental things that you need to be doing on a daily basis and not giving up, right? Creating that consistency. And then for those of you that are out there watching and or listening, and you're just really thinking, man, this market has shifted and I don't know how I'm going to feed my family next month. I really encourage you to listen to Tim's story and just where he came from and how he got started and the things that have gotten him to where he is. So you want to tell us a little bit about your story, kind of how you got started in real estate?
So I'll jokingly say I've been in real estate my whole life. I'm 44, and I come from a family of real estate. My mom's been in it 40 years, and so all of us kids, I was the youngest, we all worked in it, stuffed envelopes. I used to deliver when they had the MLS books.
Yeah.
I would go pick them up in Rogers and take them to all the offices.
You're really showing your age there.
Yeah. So pre-internet. And so I went to, I was her assistant through high school, and then went to college. I swore off real estate. All three of us did. And then graduated U of A, and then I remember my mom just said, give me 1 year in real estate,
Yeah.
And so that first year, I think I sold 23 homes and never looked back,
Yeah.
And so I will say growing up in it, it's a special career that I don't think anybody should ever take for granted, what you can achieve in this career.
Now, a lot of people out there, because I hear this sometimes, oh, Elizabeth just got lucky. Or they might look at Tim and say, well, his mom was in it. He just got lucky, and you and I both know that is not the case, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can speak to a little bit about how, what it really took that first year to close 23 deals.
Well, coming from a family and had a parent that, my mom was a high producer, and what that means is even today, so she prospected every single day. Before I had my license, she had sent me down to action workshop with Mike Ferry, and we were chanting scripts, and so I was calling for sub owners before I had even had my license.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, in this business to really master your craft. You've got to understand the first part is the client acquisition part. And so I grew my personal business off of daily prospecting.
Right.
It was, and you got to think, this is before internet leads, before Zillow, and it works today. We called just listed, just solds. We called forced boners, expired. And then because at the time I was 23, none of my clients I didn't have any friends that were buying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
my friends couldn't afford a Schwinn, much less a house, right? I didn't really have a sphere of influence to tap into.
And so I always say you got to really cut your teeth and earn a stranger's business and show them what you're worth. And then now they're a client for life.
Right.
And so so that first year it was daily prospecting, daily role played. And it was just really, it was my only choice at that point. I'd committed to this.
Yeah.
So.
That's really good. I like that you talk about how real estate's really a contact sport. That's something that when we're talking to people, a lot of times people say, oh, I want to get my real estate license. I love watching HGTV. I love looking at houses, all of those things. And you find out that they're afraid to make contact with. They don't want to pick up the phone, or they don't want to be belly to belly. We tell them, you got to be belly to belly with people, right? You got to be shaking hands, kissing babies, that kind of thing. And so something that we've talked a lot about with people that talk about wanting to get their license. At first, I'm just like, no, I don't know that you really want to do this. Have you really thought about this? But what we tell them is that your first 2 years of real estate, don't think of it so much as all the property you're going to show, contracts you're going to write, like all of those tactics and techniques you pick up and you learn as you do it, right? It's
Correct.
not like you just jump in and read a book and you're like, okay, I'm ready. It's really boots on the ground experience. What I think that most agents that are successful, the way they look at their first 2 years is as a marketer. They're marketing themselves to other people, right?
Correct.
They're really out there making the relationships, showing them two things, in my opinion. Hey, I care about you.
Yeah.
And I'm competent. That's all that people really want to know, in my opinion, to be able to work with you. Are you good at what you do, and do you care about me?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. If someone asked me what 3 things would you do, be nice to your clients, but also message everybody, be nice to the other agents in the marketplace, more than anything.
Yeah.
Master your craft. I mean, you've got to know so much in this industry, and so you're constantly learning. I mean, I'm learning today. And then number 3, just be consistent what you do. And it's the marketing. What is it going to be? How are you going to market yourself? Are you going to do it calling people day to day? Are you going to do it door knocking? Are you going to do it social media? You're going to do it on YouTube. Whatever you do, it is all just reaching the public is what it is.
Yeah. And to be able to do that consistency, and I think you and I have talked about mastery and what that is, and that, that they say it's 10,000 hours, right? The Beatles got their 10,000 hours at a strip club in Hamburg, Germany, that we don't exactly have, that kind of luxury of getting those in like the Beatles did, right? And so, when we look at how much time you're spending on your calls, you're getting better at it, right? But if you're not doing it consistently and it doesn't become a habit, it just kind of falls by the wayside and you're out there. I tell people, even a turkey can fly in a hurricane, right? Anybody can pick up a deal or two, right? But to really be a master at what you're doing requires a system, whatever it is, right? And then being consistent at it.
Well, and you've got to if you never give yourself enough chances, and I think that's the biggest problem is people don't even have enough, they don't even have enough opportunities. They're not putting themselves out enough people's houses, turning enough doorknobs, talking to enough people to even get a win.
That's good.
And then if you don't get a win, you're not going to go out there and try anymore. And so it's just like you said. I mean, if you keep getting out there, you're going to have a win.
Right. That's really good. Yeah. So it's really just a numbers game. It's this many contacts equals this many, all the way down to your closings, right?
Everybody has a conversion rate, even at the beginning. It's like how many people. And then as you master your craft, as you get better at, and a lot of it's just building self-confidence in the business. I mean, I remember when I first started, you look at me now, I look young now, I look 12 then. And so I had to try to, when something came out of my mouth, I knew the business.
Right.
But then there's a time when when you speak, they don't ask you how long you've been in the business anymore because it just comes out with confidence. But you don't get that without the reps and without the practice.
Right.
And so
That's good. And, I think that's something that a lot of even experienced agents that you and I recognize as pros in our business, right? They still even struggle with, am I doing a good job? Am I doing this well? And so mastering that confidence is something that I don't know that you ever master. You should constantly work on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's days I'll call people I know and be like, can I do this?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been
They're
in
like,
it 2 decades.
Tim, you're doing it. Yeah.
But because every day, and I guess another thing you could say is you've got to understand that every day you're starting at 0.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
in sales, you may have 3 or 4 closings, 3 or 4 coming up, but if you're not doing something that day to restart the process, you just can't stop. And someone told me it was like swimming a marathon. When you quit swimming and quit prospecting, you slowly sink. And I'll tell you, that's this business, and I've seen it time and time. And so you've got to have that discipline to wake up and start every day at 0.
Just keep swimming. Yeah, that's good. I really like that. So if you were to go back in time, right, and you could redesign your experience knowing what you know now back then, what would a typical day in the life of Tim Moldenhauer look like? What would you do? What would your schedule look like? What time do you wake up? that kind of thing.
I've kind of had the same schedule. And I even do it today. I think anybody could follow this. You've got to take care of yourself, working out, gym, all that. And what I've realized is in this business, if you put that in the afternoon, you'll sometimes trade a showing, you'll trade a listing appointment for your health. Mm-hmm. So take care of your health first, because if you're sick or you don't feel good, you can't do this business. So I've always worked out in the morning. I wake up about 4:40, work out at 5. I try to get to the office by 7, because when you get in this business, there's a tendency when you get there to do all your admin and all your work get busy and never get to lead generation. And
you get too busy. Yeah.
You get too busy. And so I like to get to the office about 7 and I get rid of every email, every excuse where come 8, I can call people.
That's good.
And then if I can get my calls out of the way, I promise anybody on this, if you just do some sort of leads generation from like 8 a.m. or 8:30 to 10:30.
Yep.
And then it doesn't matter what happened the rest of the day.
That's right. You've won.
You've won.
Yeah.
And so an old mentor always said, just master your schedule from 8 to noon. Nothing else.
That's great.
So
that is really good.
Take care of your body. Come in. Do a couple hours of calls, and then you're going to be busy in the afternoon.
Yeah. And, and I can see how, from the perspective of a perfectionist, I'm not calling you that, but, we're both very driven and, like things to be pretty buttoned up and perfect. Having that permission to just win for 2 hours or, 8 till noon, whatever it is, and not feel like you have to do it perfect for the whole day. Yep. I think it's surprising to people, and it gives people a real opportunity to really just kind of relax a little bit and not give themselves a hard time, not get burnt out, all of those problematic things, right? So, we look at a lot of analytics and say, okay, well, what does it mean to win the day? We tell people 2 hours a day in the morning. That's it. Just consistently. And if you can win for 2 hours a day, 4 days out of the week, 3 weeks out of the month, and 8 months out of the year,
you'd have a business.
You'd have a nice business. Yeah. Something that's, creates generational wealth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anybody hasn't read it, read Eat That Frog.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, because even this long in the business, nobody wants to make the calls. Nobody wants to prospect. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
But get it out of the way.
Right. And that was something that I feel like when you and I first started working together, and even when I met Margie, and by the way, when I met Margie Moldenhauer, I had the skin of a grape. This is what I tell people. I was so soft and just so, just ouch, that hurt, kind of a thing. And she really toughened me up a lot and really just made me a strong person, to just more resilient, I guess. And
tough love.
Oh, a lot of tough love that a lot of people I feel like could be like, oh, I don't like how she talked to me, but it's only because she wanted me to succeed. And I know that's also true with you.
Well, and another thing I could say, go find a mentor, go find a coach or accountability partner, because they're not there to be your friend.
Absolutely. Yes.
They will. And the reason why they'll tell you the truth and the reason why they'll push you and toughen you up is only because they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
They're not going to make you feel good for not doing your job that day. They're going to tell you to go do your job.
Yeah.
So it's a special feeling when you have somebody close to you, a mentor, a coach, accountability partner that does care about you and will be straightforward with you. And in this business, when nobody cares if you show up.
Yeah.
You can't get fired.
That's right. That's right.
And that's your own worst enemy. So find somebody like that. That's
right. And asking yourself some of those tough questions, I think, you don't have somebody there to fire you, but at the end of every day, I like to look at what I made happen and say, if I was working for myself, if I could separate myself from myself, right? Would I be fired after today? Or would I be allowed to come back the next day and work, right?
They always say, like, have your spouse follow you for a day, and then they'll see what you really do.
Yeah, that's good. I had a husband one time that said, I don't know why you're tired all the time. All you do is drive around and talk on the phone. It's just like, yeah, that's how we pay the bills. So, no, I mean, that's really good stuff, Tim. So, we've got a few minutes left here, and what I'm hearing you say is just being consistent, hard work. It's not these bright, shiny objects of how to make $1 million in 5 minutes kind of a thing. That it's a process.
Well, and we will actually take on a lot of new agents at our office and our team. And if you just kind of think about this logically, like, well, 1 in 7 or 8 people are moving this year.
Right.
And so if you can just have discipline to talk to 7 or 8 a day, one of those people is moving.
That's really
and if you do
good.
that every single day, the odds are, and if you even go back even further, that National Association of Realtors says, 70% of people use the first person they talk to.
Yeah.
And so you just master your craft and talk to people every day.
That's
just
good.
Talk to people every day. It's that simple.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, that's great. Well, in our last couple of minutes here, just a couple of little rapid fire, questions. You've explained perfectly, I think how to really make a financial fortune in this business, how to really have a business, right? What are some of the things that you do to also unwind, find the time to you talked about working out. How do you feed the machine? My family, we've always taken trips. And so if I, like I told you, a goal the other day. Yeah.
So it's like, if I do X, Y, and Z for 3 months, we're going to go on this trip. And so I have to personally get away from here to check out.
Yeah, sure.
And so if I reach my real estate goals, I'm allowed to go.
Yes.
And so, so I tie my real estate goals to trips to recharge and unwind.
Right. That's good. That's good. What about mentally? What are some things that you have read that you would say, these are books? I know you mentioned one, but if somebody out there is just starting out, what are maybe 2 books that you'd say, this is what you'd need to
Here's a neat one I just finished that I wished I had listened to before. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. And it talks about, it's almost a way about creating confidence, but alter ego, you basically create an alter ego to be the person, like, the person that wants to sell 50 homes a year, you create that inside of you, and it tells you how to do that. Where it's,
that's good.
Where it's not you getting rejection, it's this alter ego. So that one was really, really interesting that I just finished.
That's good. You got any others?
The others you should do is listen to The Slight Edge, Atomic Habits, all the basics that will teach you what daily discipline will create.
Absolutely. Just a great way, fundamental, cornerstones, I guess, of how to run a business, how to run yourself. That's really good. Well, anything else you want to add, or?
I guess what I would always add is I just want to, always put the message out that we are in this business. We shouldn't take for granted what opportunity we have. I mean, there's very few businesses out there that you have unlimited potential. But but we have the biggest responsibility ever. Yeah. We are dealing with people's most expensive assets. Yeah. And so we can't take it lightly. When you have that buyer or the seller, put them first. This is their house. We may do it every day, but this is everything to them.
That's good. That's really good. I love it.
So just try to remember that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Tim, thanks so much for coming on the show today. And I know that people out there in the community, in the real estate world, look up to you as a leader and just a great businessman in general. And it's a real pleasure to get to pick your brain and share the great information with everybody today.
Right. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Well, tune in next week, guys, for another episode of the Rowe Report, and I'll see you back next week.